deep in an underground secret Pacific Island lair, Pop Culture Minefield presents Saturday Morning Funtime. This is the Comic Relief Crusader telling you to get your morning cereal ready, because here we go. Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday morning to all of you. Keith here, along with today's big co-host, Dork Knightley.
Good morning.
And of course, Martin. And a big hello also to Pat. And today, let's celebrate the fact that Mr. Tickle Trunk has been a member for the last 10 months. Wow. And you know what? I think he even gave us $2 contribution for Mr. Tickle Trunk. Thank you very much on behalf of G-Dog himself, Gary, and myself and everyone here. You have always been very loyal and fun, and we really, you're one of the reasons why we just couldn't do this without you. So thank you. So how's everybody this morning?
Tired.
Wow.
I got a 3-hour nap.
You know what? When we were younger, that was no big deal, man.
Although I am pretty stoked. So among other things, you know, I do design work and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
One of my clients out here has been a client of mine for a very long time. Grouchy John's Coffee Shop. Check out. So I do their business cards, right? Design and print them. And I wasn't expecting them until like Tuesday. They came in today. Look at this. I don't know if the spot UV shows up, but look at this sexiness.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah. Hold up. Here's the back. These just came in.
I might have to have you do our cards.
Look at that spot. You see that it's this matte finish with the spot UV. Look at that. God, that's sexy. It looks so good.
Well, my friends, for Tickle Trunk and Danny, who has very, very, very few hours of sleep, I'm going to put out a thank you video. And it's one of Gary's favorite in commemoration that we have that here today.
If you think that by threatening me you can get me to be your slave, well, that's where you're right. And I'm only saying this because I care. There are a lot of decaffeinated brands on the market today that are just as tasty as the real thing. If you think
that's what I'm having right now.
I need the caffeine, so
I don't doubt it, my friend.
Let's see. Well, today we're going to we have a few things to discuss on this incredible Saturday morning. First and foremost, we're going to talk about John Bernthal, whose name came up yesterday. Again, John Bernthal, Sergeant Rock. Let that wash over you. But
you can't protect her, Rick. You can't protect her.
We have John Bernthal's new Punisher series to be announced at D23. And this is coming straight from geekositymag.com, a.k.a. Mikey Sutton's Geekosity.
I like how you had that pause there. It's like when I'm like, hey, would you like to see my pussy? Cat? You know, you had that pause.
Well, you know, my first acting teacher was William Shatner. So let's just head straight into that first story. Straight from Geekosity. This one written by the man himself, Mr. Mikey Sutton. Marvel Studios will reportedly announce John Bernthal's new Punisher series at D23. According to a new rumor, the Punisher reboot will be R-rated like the original Netflix series. Specifically, that's TVMA, television's equivalent, if accurate. This confirms my original leak. That's Mikey writing that. On March 2nd, Mikey Sutton, revealed that Marvel Studios won't water down their Punisher show on Disney+. Nevertheless, some fans remained skeptical. After all, it's Disney. On the other hand, Disney Plus began streaming the adult Marvel programs from Netflix without trimming them. Instead, they're under parental lock. They'll do the same for the Punisher's return. At San Diego Comic-Con, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige still had weapons of mass destruction left over. Indeed, dropping 2 Avengers films, an 18-episode Daredevil show, and the Fantastic Four wasn't enough. Perhaps Feige thought Henry Cavill would show up for DC films and brought his army. Cavill skipped, but Feige delivered. However, he isn't done. Feige will unleash more goodies at D23 Expo in September. That's Disney's own event. Reportedly, Marvel Studios will unveil the Punisher. Without a doubt, Daredevil is back, so the Punisher had to be coming. Although the report doesn't give details, we may know some of it already. That is, if Marvel Studios hasn't changed them. On March 2nd, I said their plan was to call it... Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I have been interrupted. My computer has done a little dance. Wow, okay. Okay. Let's see if I can get back to that story. Sorry, technical disruption here. Thank you to my service provider for popping in an ad right in the middle of all that.
Do either of you know what's so great about today?
Outside of being the day after Dave Stevenson's birthday?
It's SummerSlam Day, baby.
Oh, well.
SummerSlam. Let me tell you something, brother.
You know what?
I'm just trying to kill time while you do your thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No. You know what? That's kind of cool. That is kind of cool. That goes back to when I was... that definitely goes back to when I was...
you want something that goes back, even if you're not a wrestling fan. You'll probably get it in 3 tries. Like name like a wrestler, like even if you're not familiar, like just like what's a
Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Wow, that was not expecting that. What's another one? like when you think of like the greats, people who transcended
The Undertaker,
made their way into pop culture. Okay, this isn't.
Wait a minute, how Hacksaw Jim Duggan did that too?
I mean, okay, damn it. You can tell we didn't rehearse this, guys. I wish we had. So I'm going to give you a clue.
Okay, give me a clue.
He does Car Shield commercials. His signature catchphrase is, and I apologize in advance, whoa! Wow, really? 4 Horsemen?
Let's go to Martin. We could not have done that better. It's like just to leave you hanging for a moment.
Just like 4 Horsemen.
I mean, nobody can go woo. See, I can't even do that. Try it again. Try it again, Danny. Do it again. Do it again.
Woo! Yes, Doss Wolfen has it. Ric Flair's last match is tomorrow. But the reason I bring up Ric Flair, sorry, Anima, is because last night they did a StarCast roast of Ric Flair. It was almost 3 hours long, and it was hilarious. It was hilarious. It was so funny, except for the end where like Ric Flair is just like walking estrogen now. He just was bawling for like the last 10 minutes of it. Like, I love you guys so much. And blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bro, come on, man. Come on. You're up there talking about being the kiss stealing, wheeling, dealing, jet flying, limousine riding, son of a gun.
Personally, I don't care, how manly you are. If you are really good at what you do, you have been the best for so long. If you don't at least shed 1 or 2 tears when you're leaving doing something that you've enjoyed for a majority of your life, you ain't human.
No, I feel you, man. I'm just more picking on him, but I am convinced, and I'm not alone in this opinion, that he wants to die in the wrestling ring, and that's why because he's 76. He almost died in 2016. He was like in a coma for a month. You know, like dude is like out of his damn mind. You know, but if anybody is even remotely a fan of wrestling or Ric Flair, I highly recommend you find the roast of Ric Flair that was on last night. It was really funny. It's like, oh my god, The Rock made an appearance.
Wow.
Gronkowski. There were like a bunch of people. It was funny. It was good.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. And thank you, Danny, for giving me time to get back to the article.
Did you find it?
Yes, I found it. So,
good. What kind of computer do you have?
Well, it's not the computer. It's my internet provider.
Oh, so, who's your internet service provider?
It's AT&T.
Oh, wow. Do we have that thing getting smacked around? Because instead of Warner Brothers, it should be AT&T smacking you around.
No,
this broadcast brought to you by AT&T Internet.
I'm not trying to give them any problems. It's just this huge ad popped up and just kept popping back up. So anyway, let me get back to the story. Mikey then goes on to report, without a doubt, Daredevil is back, so the Punisher had to be coming, although the report didn't give details. We may know some of it already. That is, Marvel Studios hasn't changed them. On March 2nd, I said their plan was to call it Punisher War Journal. In other words, they're naming it after one of Marvel Comics' classic Punisher books. In fact, comics legend Jim Lee drew some issues in his boyish days. Let's see. Will they keep it? I don't know. Certainly, it'd be separate itself Netflix version.
You know, it's funny, guys, and I don't know if my mom remembers this or not. So when I collected comics as a kid, you know, like any self-respecting white middle-class boy, my mom paid for all my comics, and I actually tricked her. Now it's not the same. The War Journal is its own storyline, but I always think of this whenever Punisher comes up. So you remember War Zone? I think Ramita did it. Punisher War Zone. So that came out, you know, during my heyday of collecting comics, and I tricked my mom into like buying that whole run for me. When I know if she knew the content of the stories, she would not have, because she's a devout Christian. So I just wanted to go ahead and admit that to you now, Mom, all these years later. And I was like, so.
Well, look, big love and a big hello to your mom, Penny J. Let's see. Let me finish off the story. Given the goal, expect recastings. For example, Jigsaw will look closer to his comic book roots.
Nice.
Nevertheless, they won't replace John Bernthal. Undoubtedly, for millions of viewers, John Bernthal is the Punisher. In an interview, Bernthal said, "A lot of people ask me about playing Frank Castle. The character is very much in my bones and in my heart. For me, it's not about getting the opportunity to play him again. It's about getting the character right, with the right script and with the right people behind it." This is what a lot of us comic book fans love to hear. John Bernthal is one of those people, one of those rare actors who gets it. Okay? Between him, Hugh Jackman, Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, and of course, RDJ. You know, all of them are people who are perfectly cast. And of course, to an extent, even Gal Gadot. It's Latino Slants. Hello, Paulie.
What up, Paulie?
I tip my cap to you. You are one of the reasons why I do this, Paulie. Seriously, I am also a fan of yours. So I would love to just, you know, have you on one of our shows sometime, or at least fulfill my word of coming on your show sometime.
Or, I know Gary says that usually when we throw Polly the invite, he doesn't like big panels. It's just the two of us today. Maybe if you want to throw Polly an invite, maybe it'll be the most diverse panel that's ever been here. It'll be a white dude, a black dude, and a Latino.
We'd have it all covered.
Well, except for the woman
what you
part.
want, if that is what you want, Polly, it would be an honor to have you today.
No, Martine, don't take it offensively. It's just like he shows us his beautiful visage. You do not. You do not. So, and Gary's got half of our audience convinced that you're a white guy from Indiana who's making up the accent. So, and I can neither confirm nor deny because I've never seen your face.
That is right. All you have seen.
Let me just say this on your behalf, Martin. Okay. He is an incredibly good-looking man. For those of you out there who have never.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I gained a little bit of weight, but
so you know what? We have nothing but good-looking men, and then me. So
nonsense.
And I just want to officially say hi, Mom and Dad, because it's Saturday morning.
Saturday morning fun time. Bill Barclay in the chat and I rarely agree. In fact, sometimes I feel like he goes out of his way to troll me, but that's fine. However, I do agree with him and Thomas Jane. I actually love Dirty Laundry. This came up in a previous show where we actually, I think I actually showed some of it. Oh my God. So good. That was my favorite Punisher movie, the Dirty Laundry. And it's only like
I thought that was a nice ending to his run as the Punisher to produce Dirty Laundry. So
that was nice.
Anyway, I think the next
But Bernthal's a good Punisher.
Oh, he's a very good Punisher. The next story that we will be covering is also from Geekosity. It's the Zack Snyder as the perfect response to Ben Affleck returning as Batman. Okay, so this one is also written by Mr. Mikey Sutton, the man, the myth, the legend. Excuse me, let's get to this. Director Zack Snyder.
Sorry, go. No. I thought Martine was trying to troll me by putting that comment up there. But
no. I'm just
trying to trigger me, bro. You're trying to trigger me. It's okay.
No.
Director Zack Snyder responded to Ben Affleck's Batman return on social media yesterday. Jason Momoa had confirmed that Ben Affleck appears in Aquaman and the Last Kingdom. Then it was Zack Snyder's turn to comment. Momoa's announcement on Instagram shocked the world. In fact, it generated more buzz than DC Films' panel at San Diego Comic-Con days prior. Yeah. Without a doubt, The Rock in his Black Adam garb couldn't silence the boos in the crowd. After all, they wanted to see Henry Cavill drop that he's coming back as Superman. Deadline's Cavill rumor didn't materialize. Thus, the absent broke fans' hearts globally. When YouTube personality Sil Abdul leaked that Affleck reunites with Momoa in Aquaman sequel, we covered it immediately. Nevertheless, we didn't expect Momoa to make it official so fast. Well, he did, just a day later. Without a doubt, DC Films is weak without the Snyderverse. As San Diego Comic-Con faded into memory, DC followers celebrated Affleck's comeback. Although Affleck in The Flash is public knowledge, this felt different. Indeed. Many Snyderverse haters have proudly declared The Flash is Affleck's goodbye. According to them, Affleck would ride off into the sunset and let 70-year-old Michael Keaton take his place. In other words, get off my lawn. Ironically, Affleck's Batman replaces Keaton's in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. No Warner Brothers Discovery didn't vote for Affleck instead and dub him the people's champ. The movies switch release dates. Warner Brothers Pictures now releases The Flash after Momoa's sequel. In other words, the spaghetti multiverse cameo of Keaton won't make sense in the latter. Exit light, Enter Dark Knight. So, Affleck is back.
You know what my takeaway from this is? Oh, you do? Well, please.
No. Give it to me. What's your take?
Sorry, I was just being a smart ass. You know how like a little side tangent for just a second. You know how like people like kind of what just happened. So let me hey, do you know what time it is?
Your time or my time?
Your time is
Do you know what time
36.
Okay, so just proving a point here. So I just asked a yes or no question. Do you know what time it is? Yes or no? I did not ask you what time is it, but that's something that's like in our brain. That's something that people do.
Yeah.
So, anyways, why did I bring that up? Stoner moment brought to you by Dork Night. You know, and I only got 3 hours of sleep, so I'm borderline delirious. So here's my takeaway from it. They're getting rid of Amber Heard. Well, Danny, how do you make the leap from this to that? Well, if they're spending the money to shoot new scenes to put Ben Affleck's Batman in the movie, and she's only in the movie 10 to 15 minutes, while they got all the camera crew and everybody there, why not reshoot her scenes with a new actress? I feel like that's kind of my takeaway from this. You know, even it's like 4 + 4 = potato, but still, you know.
No, I mean the thing is that it makes sense. You look, you would have had to either go get those writers or hire new writers to basically script doctor and that script to.
I think we know a guy.
I think we do. If it were up to me, I'd have him on every project, but that's just me. But to go ahead and just help that script along and see if they could do something and fix a lot of the things that don't make sense now.
Man, here's the thing. I love Michael Keaton. He's my Batman, and I was super stoked and excited. But you know, between Ezra Miller and Amber Heard, I'm just like I don't know, man. Like I want to. I don't know what they can do if they're not removing Amber Heard and they're putting in Batman. I feel like they're trying to offset this. They got to remove her, and don't even get me started about the Flash. I'm sorry to even bring that up. It's just not fair to Michael Keaton. Anyway, so.
You know what? I just think that I agree. I think Michael Keaton is an excellent Batman, but he is getting up there in years, and
he's a perfect we're gonna get some kind of version of Batman Beyond. I think we have to.
It would be dumb not to. Although, in my opinion, you could have had something that could have taken us down that road if people that actually read the Blue Beetle comics had actually been in charge of the Blue Beetle film. That's all I got to say about that.
Or at the very least, hired some nerd like one of us as a consultant. Like how hard is that?
I was going to say script doctor. The entire vault at DC, as I said the other day, is something that if you were to really look at things, we have gotten in almost 80 years of association with Hollywood. We have seen very little of the DC IP. There is a whole lot in that vault of characters and stories that they have yet to basically tap into. And
so did you? So I watched Kevin Smith's podcast. I'm a big Kevin Smith fan.
Yeah.
And recently he did a couple live shows from Comic-Con at the movies pop-up.
Yeah.
And in one of them, he talked about how back when he was working on the infamous Nicolas Cage Superman, he was approached by whoever was running Warner Brothers at the time. I forget. He says their name, and he's like, and if you don't believe me, you can ask him yourself, type of thing. But basically, this dude pitched to Kevin Smith being what Kevin Feige would end up being for Warner Brothers. And Kevin Smith turned it down because he wanted to make Dogma, which I think, and that's a very abridged version of that story. So I recommend you guys check it out, but it's nuts.
I've heard him tell that story before.
Oh, you have? Okay. Yeah.
There's some additional stuff with that story. For one thing, at that time, you were going to have multiple people that had ties to a lot of these characters already, different producers who would be able to have a say. And that is also a big difference between what Kevin Feige decided to do with the MCU versus what everybody that was doing comic book movies, whether they were Marvel or not, did eventually. You would have to have one person in charge of all these characters rather than having different producers who had the rights to these characters to be able to come on set when you're making your movie and tell you how to use that character.
Yeah.
And I think Kevin wasn't interested in having different people tell him what to do if he were trying to run things. Because it would have been really different. It would have been way different than whatever we had. And whether you're a Kevin Smith fan or not, okay, I at least respect his history and what he has accomplished as a nerd. To me, I haven't agreed with every decision he has made. I do believe that he was the puppet in that entire situation with Netflix, and that the sooner that the puppet master is let go and or fired, the sooner we can actually get Kevin Smith to give us some real He-Man, or at least allow him something else. I think he's
damn it. Why do we always got to bring look? All right, fine. I was gonna, sorry. Why does He-Man have to even come up, man?
Because that's part of the reason why he was at San Diego. I mean,
no, it wasn't. He was just there promoting Clerks 3.
He was there promoting Clerks 3, and he also had something to say about He-Man.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, the thing with Shatner in the news that Shatner's probably going to, I think Shatner's going to be Hordak. I mean, why not? But they didn't announce that he was going to be Hordak, just that he was trying to cast. Yeah, I was going to say something.
That's all right. We can get to the next story.
Well, okay. This was again.
Hold on. Wait a minute. We got a question, and AF Watcher 88 seems to be having a lot of stuff out there. So let's see. Big question: where does this leave Batgirl upcoming projects, and also pay J.J. Abrams to quit? Okay. Some of this we covered yesterday, but let me at least try to help you with this part of your question. Batgirl is in an extreme gray area. Okay. Unfortunately for the people that made that or are working on that film and the actors hired, they were hired by people whose authority and knowledge of all things DC was seriously lacking and who are no longer employed there. Okay. It's not like she really did anything wrong, but there are a bunch of people thinking that somehow, well, the people that did this thought that they were going to be able to grandfather all these characters into the Snyderverse. They're not.
I remembered. Sorry.
They will not be able to do that, because if Snyder comes back, he wants the authority to run the Snyderverse the way that he wants to, which means that whoever has been hired to take certain parts, he has every opportunity to basically not use that person and cast his own people. So we may actually get a comic book accurate Batgirl with comic book accurate costume and go from there with a bit different backstory than the one that you're going to have in the Batgirl movie. Now, this actress could very well keep her part, but they may try to either bring her in with the Batman, or, they just may not use her at all. It's the same thing for the entire cast, with the exception of Margot Robbie of Birds of Prey. They're all gone.
Yeah, you were talking about that yesterday, and I'm bummed about the Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She was great in Kate. Did you ever see that movie, Kate?
I saw movie?
Kate. No, I haven't seen it yet.
But again, Mary Elizabeth Winstead would have made a much better character in a different character DC character in a different kind of movie, because she was completely wasted in Birds of Prey. No matter how much I love her as an actress, part of the reason why she was wasted was because you were dealing with people that didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah. So may I, because I finally remembered what it was going to say. So something that kind of bothers me, and so Star Trek was doing.
So we're crossing
this
Star
stuff
Trek right now. Okay, yeah.
No. We're talking about Marvel. I'm talking about Marvel. But
okay.
So Marvel's got the Marvel Cinematic Universe where movies tie in with shows and this and that, and people act like this is some groundbreaking new thing. But Star Trek was doing this long ago. You know what I mean? Would you not agree with that?
Yeah. As far as casting particular characters, multiverse.
Well, not just casting, but like storylines, or even having different. You had at one point in time on the air at the same time. You had Next Gen, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager all airing.
Okay. I had to reset my mind, because when you say Star Trek, the only thing that comes to mind is Star Trek. What you're talking about is Trek. So all the sequel stuff. Yes.
Well, no, I'm talking about everything. Like Star Trek's always had this big, like universe that spans, movies and television. They've had concurrent titles. Like, I don't know why I was thinking about this, but like you guys were talking about what you call him, Battinson or whatever. And, you've got, does that mean no more Jared Leto Joker too?
Okay. Here, let me.
I know I'm bouncing everywhere. Back when you said everybody but Margot Robbie's gone.
Wait. No. Anything that was a part of the Snyderverse prior to Snyder leaving and or getting fired on Justice League is still a part of the Snyderverse.
I got you.
Period.
Okay. Well, anyway, unfortunately, so we have that Joker, then we have the Joaquin Phoenix Joker.
Yeah. Yes.
If this Battinson thing goes on, eventually we'll probably get. I mean, if there is a Joker in his universe, it's different from those other two Jokers.
Yes. That's what the director wanted.
Yeah, exactly. I'm down with that. And they can be going on. Like, that's why I've always said, like, Spider-Man's a great example. So you've got you've got the Tom Holland, the Tobey Maguire, and the Andrew Garfield. And to me, it's just like when I was younger reading Spider-Man comics, and I was picking up Spectacular, Amazing, and Web of at the same time, and they're not necessarily related to one another story-wise. It's just I'm getting three different versions of more of what I love that are running concurrently. So I always I don't see why they don't take advantage of the popularity of something like Far From Home, and you could release like a Tobey Maguire and or an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man and have it running at the same time, and they not be related to each other at all, just be a completely, totally separate thing. And because Hollywood loves sequels and money, and they built up all this nostalgic goodwill for those movies. Do you think? Yes, Mom, my ADHD is kicking in again. Also, only 3 hours of sleep. Okay, so I guess that I saw my mom's comment. I guess that's my cue to shush, and I'll let you take it.
Thanks for asking a question, Danny. Let me try to answer it as best I can. Yes, DC was always known for this type of thing. Marvel's had their own version of it that they've done off and on in comics as well. Ultimately, part of the reason why you haven't seen a lot of this done is mainly because up to now, mainly up to the point where Kevin Feige came in with the MCU and started making films that connect together, you didn't have to worry about these films and characters crossing over. It has become an issue now that there's that in there. I think that anything is possible. it really does depend on who ultimately will be hired to take over DC Studios, because Michael and Amy will are only currently overseeing it. They're not officially running it, and it's not like Zaslav really is going to be that focused just on that. Okay, I think there's a lot of room to do a lot of different things, but it's really going to come down to whoever they decide to hire to fill that position. Now, personally, I can think of a few names. At the top of the list is mine, but I can think
Mark Bernardin. Mark
Bernardin would be good. You know, I think Mark Bernardin is one of the sharpest people out there, as far as the ability to be able to run and connect and do things. Personally, I think that we will see some semblance of that, because that was brought up by Walter Hamada, albeit, you know, as a way to try to save his job, and not really as something that I think he was meaning to really attempt to do and make it good.
Bill, why do you wonder if Gary is watching this? Are you saying we're shitting the bed like Amber Heard?
Hold on. The Marshal wanted to know something. Let's just connected the dots. You said that everything prior to Zach being fired is part of the universe. Does that mean eventually we'll get the Nightmare Batman JL movie? You know, well, remember, you were supposed to get 2 Justice League films, which would have been ultimately a trilogy. It was meant to be a trilogy, okay? The Nightmare stuff was, I think, going to be a part of the middle part of that trilogy. Now, something that Zack Snyder did say in an interview that he did prior to the release of Zack Snyder's Justice League was the fact that he had indicated that I think because all of that information about the trilogy was now put out there for the public. In other words, you can now find out what that trilogy would have been, what his plans were. He's decided to go ahead and change some of that. So whatever Justice League 2 and 3 were originally going to be is not what it's going to be now. Once he comes back, you're going to get a slightly different thing. And with that, we get to basically just let our imaginations run wild with the kinds of characters he's going to allow into the movie. You know, he originally had wanted Kilowog and Tomar Ree and John Stewart to make the appearance at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League. He had also toyed with the idea.
He shot footage. You've seen that, right? Of the John Stewart. He shot. There's like, that was making the rounds on the internet. The behind the scenes photos of that.
Before he actually casted that actor, he had toyed with the idea of getting Ryan Reynolds to come back as Hal Jordan. So let your mind go with the fact that he very well could just go ahead and have Hal Jordan and John Stewart and possibly many other Lanterns in an upcoming new version of the Justice League trilogy that he's wanting to do. And when you think about how many people that Darkseid has that he could use to attack the Earth, having as many Green Lanterns as possible is actually a good idea.
Well, yeah. So to answer some people's questions in the chat, can you see that? Can you make that out, Keith? That thing there?
I can't see it too well.
Not really.
Martine, make me big. Make me big.
What?
Make me big on the screen, bro, where it's just me, you know?
Oh, you want your image to dominate. Okay.
There we go. No, like, can you see what that is now?
Yeah, no, but when you move the quality of the video.
Yeah, it goes down severely. Well, what is that?
I know, that's why I'm moving around a lot. It's my new internet, man. I'm sorry, you know, I'm working.
No, don't worry about it.
Don't be.
Yeah. Oh, that. Hold up. Let me show you. So, because It's so funny. So Cece wanted a new Apple Watch, so I got her an Apple Watch, right?
Okay.
And to thank me, she got me this. And people might be like, "That's kind of not. It's not like I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I love it. And I think you will too."
I'm glad you love it, my friend.
That's the important thing. Oh, he's
Well, show and tell
gonna
time.
do it.
Okay.
Do not grieve, Admiral. 'Tis logical. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one.
Isn't that cool?
That is fantastic.
I was like, yeah, if all I got to do is buy you stuff to get you to buy me the shit that you always give me shit about having. Oh, yes.
That is nice. I like that.
Thanks. I thought you might.
Hey, look, you know me. I am an admirer of everything that
you can
Gene
take me
Roddenberry,
off. There we go.
Gene L. Kuhn, and Dorothy Fontana, and the rest of the crew of Star Trek were able to put together in all 79 of those episodes. I'm also a fan of pretty much all of Berman Trek. And although I do still think that it was a mistake to do what they did with Enterprise and go backwards in time, I enjoy that entire cast. I think everybody that worked on that show, in terms of their writing department, show running, visual effects, costumes, cast, everybody, they kicked butt and then some. But I think the conception of what they had from Rick Berman and his mini-me kind of derailed Star Trek a little bit and made it possible for Kurtzman Trek to be a thing. So,
yeah, but I still say the thing that killed Enterprise was that damn intro song.
I didn't mind the intro song. I just mind the fact that I just think that Les Moonves had way too much hate for Star Trek, and he was going to cancel it anyway.
That's well known.
So
I agree with Marshall. Actually, this is funny. So, gosh, Devin was 16, 23. So this would have been 7 years ago. Yes, I just used my fingers, but remember on high. Kai, you would love that song, Anima Confusa. First of all, if you're going to drag me back into that song, the song dates it. The great thing about orchestral music for science fiction and stuff is you can sit down and watch it a generation out of sync or whatever, and it's timeless. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not. But when you hear like some kind of piece of contemporary music for the early aughts, you're gonna know exactly when that's from.
That
kind of thing.
That is true. But remember, the music, the background music, not the voice, the music is completely orchestral, and it's not part of it. Dude, I'm not just sleeping yet. But remember what I told. Not the voice, the music, the soundtrack is totally orchestral.
Yeah, well, the score is, but like it still ruined it. Like they should have had man. I tell you what, I love listening to is the Voyager theme. Like when I just need to zone out, say I'm like working on a graphic or something. I love that Voyager thing.
Oh, it's Jerry Goldsmith. Jerry Goldsmith really was one of the tops, and I still think he doesn't get enough credit for his Star Trek the Motion Picture theme, and
which was blatantly ripped off and co-opted by the next gen, and people seem to forget it was the motion picture theme.
Yeah, well, I mean, without it, really, without that theme and without that movie, you really don't have Star Trek: The Next Generation, because that's pretty much what
Yeah.
The Next Generation is. It's a modified version of both Star Trek Phase 2 mixed with Star Trek: The Motion Picture to create Star Trek: The Next Generation, just set 79 years in the future. So, but you know what? I didn't hate it. I love The Next Generation. I thought it was well done. But overall, you know, I agree with you. The Enterprise theme did throw some people off. I wasn't the biggest fan, but I didn't hate it. I just thought that it was a big mistake to go backwards. I just wanted to see another show.
Yeah. Back to
so
back to what I was going to say when I did the math. So what was it, 7 years ago, I had brought on at the time my company was called Fatbeard Studios, because I was basically my own mascot, you know, 400 jolly fat guy with a giant beard. And this guy that came to work for me, he was like, without getting too much into it, you know, starving artist type, super talented kid, needed a place to live, needed a job. So, I rented him a room. You know, I took him under my learning tree. You know, we made a lot of art and money and shit together. During that period of time, he had never, he had let me know he had never seen Star Trek, because I have Star Trek stuff everywhere I've lived. I've always had a bunch of Star Trek stuff out. And so he sees my Star Trek stuff, and it comes up he's never seen it, and I just cannot believe this. So, you know, I start telling him about well, it started out as a show in the 60s, and then there was the movie, and then look at this and that, and Next Gen, and, you know, just start talking about it. And so I was like, you've got to watch it, but I didn't know where to start, right? So I explained everything to him, and this motherfucker was like, well, I want, since I have this unique opportunity, I want to watch it in like chronological order. So the first stuff he watched at that time, this is 7 years ago, was Enterprise. And he we went through and watched all of Enterprise, then the original series. Like we watched, and then like I threw in the movies, like when they were supposed to be there and stuff. And we even watched the animated series, because I know you guys argue with me, but I always have considered it my whole life season 4, basically. And so when it was all said and done, and this took several months, maybe even a year, I don't remember, his favorite show is Enterprise. His favorite captain is Archer. And I found that fascinating. I wonder if it's because that was who popped his cherry. That was the first because of the order we watched it, or if it's a age thing, because he's 20 years younger than me. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? I know it's silly.
You know what? That's probably good. That's probably right, because he was young, because Enterprise was made at a particular period in time. You got to remember, Enterprise debuted not too long after certain major events in this country. And it was the kind of show that we needed at that time to help people get past that. I just think that had you shown him Star Trek in the order that it was actually made,
right,
and shown him the current versions of those 79 episodes, I think it would have been entertaining up to a certain point. But I don't think there would have been that deep love, because it was produced at a different time. The way that you make television changes every 10 to 15 years. You can definitely look at a show and feel certain shows to be of their era. And you have people that complain about that. But here's the thing. The story quality, and again, you got to understand, Star Trek was important because it was a nice bridge between literary science fiction and the kind of science fiction that we had gotten in Hollywood for decades from Hollywood.
Marty knew exactly what I was talking about. First of all, I did not show him first. I gave the man choice. I told him that I would watch it kind of like Star Wars in the way it was released or made. You know what I mean? And he thought it would be like, his take on it was, I have this unique opportunity, to do it this way, so I can get a different perspective. Because, and I thought that was interesting, and because I could never like now I could never go back and not know, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something to be said for not knowing ahead. Like, I don't know. I can't
Yeah, man.
articulate it. I'm sorry.
I think I get you with especially with it goes well with what Bill is saying here. When Enterprise explains, when you see the explanation of why the first Klingon in Star Trek looks so different from the movies on and the Next Generation, you
Right.
lost then you lost something, especially in DS9 when where people ask Worf why they look like that, and he says, "We do not talk
We do
about
not
it
talk.
with outsiders."
We do not
It's
talk about it with outsiders.
yeah, you and the Borg. Those are little details that complement what you've seen before. If you change the order, it destroys completely the relevance of the.
Yeah, right. No,
the
it's
thing.
it's like watching. It's like the argument where if you watched, if I gave him that decision with Star Wars, and he watched the prequels first, then that reveal that's in Empire Strikes Back, that I am your father, doesn't carry any weight, because you already know this, because it's not a surprise. It's in the if you watch it in that order. So I think that's kind of what you're saying, Martine. Like, you have that kind of issue, but I don't know. There's no party wishes that, like, especially because we hate that they go backwards in time. Like, if if you were him, would you have done it the same way? Like, or would any
If
party
I were Rick Berman?
No, my buddy who
Oh.
who like decided to watch it in chronological order.
It depends on what kind of science fiction fan you are. Each generation has gotten further and further away from the roots of what science fiction actually is. I think if you are someone who is well versed in what science fiction actually is, both in terms of the literary science fiction, which is how it began, and then how comic books have treated it, how Hollywood treats it. If you are well versed in all of that, then your favorite Star Trek will no doubt be what Gene Roddenberry created.
Hey guys, I want to use this opportunity to
Yeah.
say hello to Mike, the Comic Relief Crusader, who's joining us.
Listen on while packing, bros. I think he meant listening. I'm just being an asshole. He's got fat fingers. Everybody knows that.
And he's packing.
Hey.
Yeah. Hey, why don't you throw his
information?
His link?
I'm exactly.
Yeah. We'll go ahead and give you time to do that. Let's see. We've also had there you go. We've also had a few people in the chat.
Well, hey, while you do that, I need more coffee, bro.
Yeah, you go get your coffee.
All right.
Let's see. Okay. So let's go with nice, everybody. Let's at least jump into then the last of the Mikey Sutton stories that we had for today. We have, wow, thanks, Internet. Not trying to say anything. I'm just saying, just saying. Let's see. Here we go. Man. Okay. So with this, we have Okay. As referenced in the last story that we had read, Jason Momoa was the one to actually reveal that Ben Affleck was actually going to be in Aquaman 2. And this one's written by our friend Edwin Francisco with Mikey Sutton, or I should say, and Mikey Sutton. So, Jason Momoa announced that Ben Affleck's Batman will return in Aquaman sequel. Yesterday we covered, this is them talking, yesterday we covered YouTube personality Sil Abdul's original scoop. Congratulations, Sil. His report is now official, breaking it before the Hollywood trades. Momoa himself let the cat out of the bag. He wrote on his Instagram, reunited Bruce and Arthur. Love you and miss you, Ben. Warner Brothers studio tours. Just explored the backlot, all right? Busted on set. All great things coming. Aquaman 2, all my aloha. Jay, as in Jason. In an hilarious twist, tourists caught the dynamic duel on the Warner Brothers backlot. While it's probably a publicity stunt, it thrilled Snyderverse fans on social media. In January, Ben Affleck revealed his terrible experience with director Joss Whedon after he took over Justice League. Ben Affleck admitted that was a bad experience because of a confluence of things. My own life, my divorce, being away too much, the competing agendas, and then director Zack Snyder's personal tragedy. Snyder's daughter, Autumn, died by suicide in 2017. And the shooting, it just was the worst experience. It was everything that I didn't like about this. That became the moment where I said, I'm not doing this anymore. So for those of you who go to Geekosity or follow Jason Momoa on Instagram, they have the actual picture. It's a really good picture of those two. You can tell they really enjoy each other. Okay. It would be great to see these guys cast in an entirely different movie together.
What I miss?
Sorry,
we're just doing the last Geekosity story.
I just have to have your opinion, Keith.
Yeah.
What do you think about the suit that Batman is sporting in the picture with Momoa?
Can we post that? Can we put that up here so that everybody else can see it?
It's
an all black suit. Look, it fits his personality.
Put it up there. Do it.
Look, Ben just looks good. He's got a great sense of style, and it helps having, I think he's still technically on his honeymoon. So I think he's in a much better place. Now, see, that's a good suit there. See. This see, let me just say, Penny J, your son knows how to dress. Okay, you did a good job with him. But let's just say that it's what I would expect to reunite these both. Oh, sorry.
No. There.
Okay. Now, is that the picture from the story, or is that the picture?
I love that suit.
Oh, that suit. I was talking about the one from the Instagram that Jason had posted.
Haven't seen it yet.
Hold on. I got it. I'll send it to you in the private chat. That way you can post it. But no, I was talking about the suit that Ben was wearing in the Instagram post, because I think that's the suit he's wearing on set. So I think this is all good stuff. And again, as I've always said, I totally agree with the sentiments of Kevin Feige. A strong, well done, well produced DC EU is nothing but good news, not only for the MCU, but for everyone. And while people like Leslie Grace may have been caught in the crossfire of those who, in my personal opinion, weren't the biggest fans of these characters, I would like to say that I think Leslie Grace deserves the opportunity to at least be recast as someone else if that opportunity arises. Again, I know I keep putting this name out there, but for those of you not familiar with the character of Bumblebee, the former Teen Titan, Leslie Grace would be fantastic as Bumblebee.
Did we talk about this before? I'm having deja vu.
No, I brought up the character yesterday, but I didn't bring it up in terms of having Leslie Grace, the current young lady.
No, we talked about this like a while ago, didn't we? I could swear we did. Or am I?
You must have talked about it with someone else. But I would say that give her an opportunity to be that character because of how smart she
Salty
is.
Trekker.
I will say this, in my opinion, between John Henry Irons's niece and Bumblebee, both those particular characters are young women of color who are as smart as Shuri in Wakanda, or even Tony Stark, and neither one of them had to steal Tony Stark or somebody else's tech to do what they've done. They were both naturally smart characters. And so, again, it still bugs me that you had to create a Marvel character whose biggest accomplishment is stealing someone else's work just so that they can actually become a new version of that character. That just sucks.
Martine,
you don't have to do that.
Yes.
Show my screen. Because you were still thinking about the wrong suit. He's talking about like a suit.
Yeah, that one.
Yes.
That's from the Instagram story of the two of them.
That's him in full Bruce Wayne mode.
Yeah.
And if you watch the video, like you can, I think you're right, Keith. It's the same suit from the tour video or whatever. Okay.
Now, somebody was saying about Leslie Grace. Well, that's the thing. Okay, let me answer the Marshall's question. They have a deal with Zack Snyder. If you bring him in, it's his universe, okay? That would be like if I wanted to create a character, like, say, Sulu's older brother, who's like an admiral in Starfleet, who likes to just break the rules and do stuff. Well, you've never heard of the character, but if somebody goes off and makes a Star Trek movie and has that character, if you are making OG Star Trek, you don't have the right to force a new character into that dynamic. Okay? Zack Snyder was hired to do the Snyderverse, and the people that are currently here are going to make that happen. Okay? Snyderverse is whatever Zack Snyder decides to put in there. And you have these people that want to make the Snyderverse its thing. Leslie Grace was hired in order to shoehorn her into that. The people that did that did not have the right to do that. Okay? So I feel bad for her. I do. Your issue and her issue then should be taken up with the person who did it, and that's Walter Hamada. Okay? She's got no right as an actress to have to be put into anything. Her contract was she's hired to make this movie. They may have signed her for sequels, but that's really up to Warner Brothers to put her in those other films. If she isn't in those films, she doesn't have to be paid for any of them. She only gets paid if she's in them. She only makes this movie. If this film does not do gangbusters, Top Gun Maverick business, you have that one movie and that's it. Now, if she would like to be a part of the Snyderverse, or
what movie needs to go the gangbusters? Batgirl. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Martine, check out the chat. Go ahead, sir.
If she would like to participate in any future things, then she could probably get recast as a different character. by Zack Snyder to do something else or be somebody else.
All right, so
that's the difference.
Gonna prove Keith's point. You watching, guys? I don't think I can make it bigger. Hold on.
I wouldn't make it bigger.
Sorry, bro.
Just
look. You can clearly see it's him. There's his face right there.
Well, this was his trailer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Sorry.
So again, I get it, but you have to also understand that she is gorgeous. And again, I'm telling you, Google Bumblebee. Trust me, she can do it. Don't just Google her for her looks. Google the character and what she's capable of. Okay? Or better yet, go with John Henry Irons' niece. Okay? Now, I personally am not a big fan of just whole cloth creating brand new characters.
I got to do dad stuff. I'll be right back.
Yeah, you go ahead and do your thing. Yep. I'm not a big fan of whole cloth creating brand new characters, mainly because, as I keep saying, just like with Marvel, there's a lot in their IP and in their vaults, stories, characters, and other things they have never used. Okay? And that goes for characters of color, both women and men. How can you want to have more representation if you are not familiar with the material enough to know all the different characters that are there? I mean, it's embarrassing, really, the amount of stuff and characters that are there. I will say that for me, the character of Lucius Fox had been a part of Batman pretty much, I think, since the 1970s. And yet it took Christopher Nolan making Batman Begins to actually have that character in there. Okay? There are a lot of characters in both the Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman and Green Lantern universes and Flash universes. There are a lot of people, a lot of different characters that have never seen the light of day. One would have thought, a lot of you out there would think, well, they had a TV show called The Flash, and we've seen all the... You haven't seen it. The Flash television series has not covered that much of what the Flash comic books have had. And what little they have covered, they tried to stuff within the first 2 to 3 seasons. But it still wasn't that much. And they were combining things, they still found a way of combining Wally West, and what his powers and abilities are with Barry Allen. I mean, more power to him, but that definitely is an alternate version of the character. And the same way for a lot of things that they've done up to this point. You're getting not too well-researched versions of a lot of these characters. That's all. And all I've been saying is just go out and give these characters some life. Leslie Grace is a beautiful woman. Trust me on this. You cast her as one of these other characters, I think she will do well for herself. I think she'll even go further because everybody at least thinks they know Batgirl. And in this case, Barbara Gordon, a.k.a. Batgirl number 2. I think that I think it would be better for Leslie to just try a brand new character. That's all. No, I would not cast her as Kate King. I would not cast her as Kate King. I would cast her as, let's have a character that you haven't seen before, a type of character that you haven't seen before. Let's have someone that's like on a Tony Stark type level. John Henry Irons' niece is that smart. I would cast Leslie Grace as that. I would recast her as that because I have noticed that there's been, personally for me, I have noticed that you have never, ever really seen, outside of Shuri, an intelligent woman of color who is capable of creating different things and dominating technology. DC, you've never really seen it in DC, you know. It'll be great to recast and have someone like that, whom, at least in the comic versions, wasn't a thief. And yes, I took another swipe at Marvel Comics on that one. I'm a big Marvel fan, but that was just dumb. Okay, that Ironheart origin was just dumb and insulting as a person of color. Very insulting. But Zax says, let's see.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. Oh, yeah, she could be Bumblebee, but would DC use a character like that in their movies? Look, you're about to see. Look, you've already gotten Shuri introduced, and you're about to have the Ironheart character. So far, that's 2 to zip. It's about time they have a character like that. Okay? They need to stop basically screwing around. And again, since we're going to talk about who to blame, the name is Walter Hamada, because he had every opportunity to do it in the time that he had that job. I know there are a lot of apologists out there that are saying, well, he couldn't do this or he couldn't do that. You know what? He spent the better half of the last almost 14 months, because he knew that once Zaslav took over, his time was limited. He greenlit all these projects. My biggest thing is, why didn't he just greenlight all of the stuff that would have allowed us to see the Dakota universe? That would have given us Static, Icon, Hardware, the Blood Syndicate. That would have given us all these characters. And these are all characters of color. He didn't. So I get people that want to argue about representation. But even when that person has the opportunity, they drag their feet. They don't do anything. I mean, they gave us a Blue Beetle film. Okay? Could have very easily have also greenlit Static or Icon, even better. He didn't. You know, it's the same thing with Kathleen Kennedy. She says she's all about female empowerment, and that's great. But I also look at someone's actions, and she never hired one female director for any of the main Star Wars films that she is in charge of, with the exception of hiring Patty Jenkins for a movie that still hasn't even really started production yet. So up to this point, it's still no, nada, none. She talks about it, but she's not about it. And if you look at the Skywalker saga, that's just 3 films they've had at Disney, not one female director. That's not something you can't argue that. It is the way it is. And Black Superman, Marvel Comics has the Blue Marvel. Okay? DC Comics has Icon. Why is this even a discussion? Because the person that is pushing it, J.J. Abrams, wants to have a Black Clark Kent, a Black Kal-El. When you ask why, he talks about representation. I say representation my backside. If it's really that important, you've got Icon. Oh, you don't want Icon. Well, then you're not about it. I'm sorry, you're not about it. You know, I can't make it any plainer than that. You can say all you want about how you want this or that and how you support all kinds of things. But unless you are actually doing it, It's all just talk. And you got Val-Zod, you got other characters. But this is just almost a child throwing a fit. And again, we lay all of this at the feet of Walter Hamada, which is another reason why he had to go. And I'm sorry that to Jim Lee, I know, Walter was your boy and everything, but, Michael B. Jordan has been affiliated with the Milestone Media for quite a while. And that wasn't enough to get Walter Hamada to just say, hey, maybe we should look into helping Milestone Media because they've got Michael B. Jordan. That wasn't enough to get anything greenlit. And for the record, Michael B. Jordan did say that if he were going to be Superman, he wanted the Val-Zod. But instinctively, he's working with Milestone. He wants to be Icon. That's what he wants. I know a lot of you probably haven't heard of the character, so you might as well use Google and figure it out. But trust me, Icon. I tell you, if Warner Brothers were to announce an Icon movie, and let's say Michael B. Jordan wasn't going to be in the character, I think every black actor, including Idris Elba, would attempt to be that character.
Sorry, guys. Back.
So, again, it's you can't keep running around in circles, running off at the mouth, talking about how you're for this and how you're for that, and yet, you haven't done anything. You haven't shown any inclination to want to actually do something that will actually accomplish that. Which means you're not really about what you're saying. You're about something else. And 9 times out of 10, it's about money. More than anything else. Every black actor wants to be that hero character. Well, you have an opportunity. You can do that. You got Icon and you have Marvel. You've got the Blue Marvel. I'm really not seeing any impediments to making that character happen outside of everything they've done to try to make Captain Marvel a thing in with the Marvel fans. I think that's the only reason why you guys aren't launching the Blue Marvel as a character within the MCU, because he would blow Captain Marvel away. Stronger, bigger, faster, and that's definitely the Blue Marvel. Welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah, and unfortunately, I got to do if we could kind of wrap up, or if
we're getting ready.
I may be allowed to dip out. I got to do some stuff for my kid.
Hey,
we gotta continue.
No, I was just gonna ask Mark.
Oh, hey, we got a super chat.
Let's do that.
Here it is.
Get well soon, but if Gary can't be here, I love it when Keith gets rolling like this. Knowledge injection.
I'm just a longtime fan of both Hollywood and comics. I mean, geek and nerddom in general. And I'm really getting sick and tired of a lot of people preaching at me that they're all about this or that, that they're going to help with this or that. And I sit here watching as they completely don't do anything. And what little they do, what little they do suggest makes no sense in the greater sense. In the greater scheme of things, when you look at the whole of Marvel Comics and the whole of DC Comics, and you have to ask yourself, why are you making such dumb suggestions? Why are you doing things that are antagonizing people and trying to disguise it as if you're doing something noble?
You should wear like we need to start calling you Professor Moncrief. Did I say your last name right? Did I say that right?
Well, Professor
And then
Keith.
no, it's always by the last name, Professor Moncrief.
True, but
and then like
you know,
you should
like
wear
Mr.
like a tweed jacket one time and a Kangol hat next time you do this. That'd be a funny clip.
You know, this is the reason why
getting schooled
I tell
by the
people
professor.
that RMB and I are twins, or at least triplets, because you know there's also my twin brother. But I mean, when RMB gets going, I'm usually going, yeah. Sometimes when I get going, it's hard for me to stop, you know. But look, I am so sorry. I didn't mean to really dominate the way that I have and go off because.
Oh man, no, we
all love that.
Everybody everybody in the chat's like, great show, guys.
I know,
could listen to Keith all day.
I don't
on a
mean
roll,
to,
Keith. You know,
I don't mean to really, you know, do stuff like that because it takes, I think, away from some of the
do you see what
I'd make.
Gap said? Put that up, Martin. We're fine then. See, Gap After Dark says Keith can keep on going, but that dork guy and you can leave to do things with your kids. Hey man, the people have spoken. We're superfluous. We don't matter. We're like the extra side of gravy you just don't need. You know what I mean?
Look,
everybody's
you guys are
getting all
things,
the meat and potatoes.
You guys are not that. You guys really do add so much to what Gary and I do. Especially Gary, really. I think it's been very noticeable not having Gary here. And again, let me just say officially, get well, brother. Okay, stay healthy.
And, I wasn't laughing at Gary's illness. I was laughing at the Danny and Martine are set extras comment. So
let me play this for our friend Sax.
I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
Sorry.
Let me also put it out
we got a bot in there. We got a sex bot. Let's get that sex bot.
Oh, yeah, well. Let me also say to Mikey Sutton, look, man, I hope your mother gets better.
The moms. Yeah. And
we're thinking about you and her. And if you need anything, you know where I'm at. Well, thank you, Bill. Let's see.
Man, we all have our I bet you I could go toe to toe and hold my own with some TOS trivia. You know, but,
I think you could beat me on it. It's just, you know, I've built up over 50 years of just passionate things to talk about and be about. And again, I don't really have a hard-on hate for anybody. I may talk a lot about Walter Hamada. Part of my thing with Walter Hamada is I was one of those people that was really pulling for him. I was hoping he was going to be able to do something kind of cool. And all he ended up doing was just rubber stamping a lot of what Toby and Ann were doing, which is unfortunate because I felt that he was intelligent enough to be able to do other things. And in the end, all he did was rubber stamp. And I can't look, I hope you're doing well. I hope whatever job you go on to after this is phenomenal and great and all that stuff. But your work with Warner Brothers running DC EU has not been good. Your mistake with Joker cost the company and its shareholders $1 billion at least. For anybody, that should have gotten him fired. The fact that you keep defending some of the mistakes and stuff that anybody could admit were mistakes.
Who's you got pictures of with the goat? That's what it is.
And again, I don't hate Jeff Johns. I'm just saying there's a lot of people that have a lot of things to say who have had some bad run-ins with the guy. Okay? Never met the man. For years, I'd always wanted to meet the man. Never met the man. Still have nothing against the man. I'm just saying, for a guy as knowledgeable as he is, there's a lot of things that he's been a part of that just haven't really added up, you know. And at the top of that list is the Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds. If Ryan Reynolds hates that movie that much, and can laugh about it. Usually you got to go through the list of people who were responsible for making that movie. And towards the top of the list, outside of the producers and director, are the writers. And that includes Jeff Johns and Greg Berlanti. So I don't know what to tell you guys. I mean, you worked on it. You collected a paycheck. You also deserve whatever comes your way as far as being blamed for things. That's just the way it is.
Why do you keep bringing up Green Lantern? It's giving me I have PT. It's like a bad version of Roger Rabbit.
I'm sure Alan Horn also doesn't want to talk about that, but it is what it is. And I hope that with the Snyderverse, we can at least fix a few things by actually having a version of Hal Jordan in that film and having a version of John Stewart also, because one of the things I always hated that a lot of fans, for whatever reason, never picked up on in the comics is that you have two characters that both served in the military who have two different views politically and socially that get along, have fun, and do incredible stuff. And yet, when we talk about representation in the film and television versions, a lot of people, like Walter Hamada and others, just want to kill off Hal Jordan and go about their merry, because you can't have John unless Hal dies for some weird reason. I mean, they've managed to make having two Spider-Men of color and Peter Parker exist. I think we can allow Hal and John Stewart to continue to exist long after you've cast them to do things. That's all I've ever said. But I'm just a black guy that knows a few things. That's all. Anyway.
A few things, he said.
I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. And
hey, man, do me a favor and let's make like a baby and head out.
Okay. First of all, let me just say thank you to Lord Thoth, and the Marshal.
The chat list.
Oh, yeah, I'll take that.
Do it now.
Okay. AF Watcher 88, Anima Confusa, Bill Barkley, Charles Austin, Das Wolfen, Decepticons Cave of Villains, that is a nice name, Deleted Scenes, Gap After Dark, Heidi Marks, Keely Chow, Latino Slant, Polly, Mr. Tickle Trunk, Old Man, Pat S, you know who you is and love ya, Penny J, you are Wonder Woman. See, Shelly Back, TJL, Shanatsky, the Comic Relief Crusader, the Peter Venkman fan site, and of course, Zax.
Hey, what about the Marshal? You skipped the Marshal.
Oh, the Marshal? Yeah, you know what? The Marshal, of course. Did I forget anyone? Did I skip anybody? I think we're good.
I think we're good.
Yeah, okay, I think we're good. Thank you all for keeping company with us this Saturday. I especially want to say thank you to Martin and thank you to Danny, because you guys rock. You guys completely and utterly rock. You guys are just the best.
Oh, come on.
Danny rocks. I'm just
yeah. Okay, actually, go on.
You guys completely rock. You guys are just the best.
You're too kind. All right. Well,
I just also want to say peace and long life, and of course, hi, Mom and Dad, and to all the moms and dads out there, have a good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Happy SummerSlam Day.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Pop Culture Minefield. If you've enjoyed the show, please make sure to like, subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell icon for updates on our shows and channel. Also, please leave a comment, and and we'd like to know what you thought of the episode, as well as letting us know if there's something you'd like us to cover in a future episode. Don't forget that you can become a member of Pop Culture Minefield now. Make sure to visit our membership page and merch store at popcultureminefield.com. You can always find Pop Culture Minefield on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch.